I'm here to tell you some insightful video stories. For the second time, I'm going to tell you a story which is about an old man who was once sent to a prison for a serious crime he committed in his teenage. After he committed the crime, he was finally taken to a prison which he found of immense happiness while he remained there for 60 years. He was finally freed from the prison and he was taken into the society, but he shares his stories to everyone there in the society, telling that staring into the four walls and into the darkness, he finds such an immense happiness that he never regrets it. He always finds it fascinating just to sit doing nothing at all. So he could be able to spend 60 years of his prison life. Now, hearing all this story, a teenage also wished to go to the prison, but since he hadn't committed any crime, he couldn't go to the prison. But he made up an idea that he would go to the prison after committing some crime, and he was finally able to do that. He committed a minor crime, though a crime isn't a major or a minor, still our law holds everything onto it. He committed a crime and then he goes back into the prison. He goes into the prison and then stays there for 5 years because he had to stay there for 5 years. Now, as told by the old man, he also stares into the four walls and into the darkness of the prison, but to his surprise, he did not find anything to be so beautiful as described by the old man. Every second for him in the prison was a nightmare. He could not do anything well. He was so restless in there. But still, he had no options than to live in there for 5 years. So, finally, he was freed from the prison. So he has made up an idea to search for the old man, but to his surprise, he didn't find the old man in that society. What he found out is that the old man had already been arrested and taken to the prison once again. Maybe he had committed a serious crime again. So he had no hope to meet the old man. What this story tries to tell you is that misery for one person could be a source of immense happiness to the other human being, or vice versa. It also tells us that once accustomed to any misery, someone will definitely make it as a source of immense happiness, as did the old man, because he had to survive with the misery for 60 years and he had no choice. He had to make misery as a source of immense happiness if he had to live his life for 60 years. But since the second case was a different one, the second case he just lived in the prison for 5 years, so he was just taking it in a different manner. He was being restless, seeing the four walls and the darkness of the prison. So he was so restless that he couldn't enjoy the prison walls and the darkness. Moreover, this story also conveys us the message that every case doesn't fit into some other human beings, as the case of old men never fit into the second teenage boy.